Everyone, this is Modula and Podrick, and we will be informing you all about what is going on in the digital world.
Welcome to the future humans. Let's start.
Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating and, let's be honest, a pretty messy story. We're talking about why one of the biggest names in PC gaming, Nvidia, is facing this massive, sustained backlash from the very community that basically put them on the map. All right, so here's the plan. We're going to start with the current gamer backlash. Then we'll rewind a bit to see the early cracks in the armor. After that, we'll get into the whole crypto controversy, break down their marketing of so-called fake frames, and finally, ask the big question. Is competition the only cure? Okay, let's get right into it. Okay, so first things first. We need to be clear about something. The feeling around Nvidia right now is not just a little bit negative. It is overwhelmingly critical. And look, this isn't just a few angry folks on a forum. We're talking about a full-blown community backlash. I mean, just look at their recent presentations. They've had to disable comments and the dislike ratios are through the roof. This is not just random internet hate. So what are some of the most trusted names in the space actually saying about all this? You've got major tech channels. We're talking about the people who have followed this company for decades, and they are being absolutely relentless. They're not just saying a product is disappointing anymore. No, now they're saying things like, this feels fundamentally dishonest. You can tell the gloves are completely off. And this quote, this one really hits the nail on the head. The feeling is shifted from, oh, Nvidia made a bad product, to something way more serious. Nvidia's actions are actively damaging the entire hobby of PC gaming. I mean, that is a huge accusation. And the criticism is getting super specific, right? It's pointing to actual product decisions that just feel hostile to the customer. Things like releasing brand new graphics cards that don't have enough memory to properly run the latest games. It just makes you wonder, how did a company that was once the king of gaming get to this point? Well, like a lot of these things, it didn't just happen overnight. The cracks in Nvidia's shiny armor, they actually started showing up years ago, way before this current firestorm really kicked off. Yeah, if you look at this timeline here, you can see a pattern of, well, manipulative tactics starting as far back as 2017. Remember the legendary 1080 Ti? Well, with that launch, they actually held back key pricing info from reviewers just so they could control the story. And then, just a year later, things got way worse with the GeForce Partner Program, which was basically a full-blown scandal that just blew up in their face. So here's the deal with this program. It was pretty much seen by everyone as a blatant attempt to strong-arm their partners and just crush the competition. Basically, if you were a company like Asus and you wanted to sell Nvidia's best graphics cards, you were forbidden from using your popular gaming brand, like Republic of Gamers, on any card made by their rival, AMD. It was a move that basically held their own partners hostage. But, okay, if the GPP was a crack in the armor, the 30 series launch, that was the earthquake that completely shattered it. It just happened to collide head-on with a massive crypto mining boom and, a global pandemic, which created the absolute perfect storm for gamer anger. And this chart, wow, this chart really says it all. At the peak, cards were selling for over 3 times their suggested retail price. Think about that. For every $1 Nvidia said a card should cost, gamers were forced to pay over 3 on the open market. The company's core audience, the people who built them, were just completely priced out of their own hobby. It was a nightmare. And, Nvidia tried to look like the good guy with these low hash rate cards, right? The idea was to make them bad for crypto mining to get them into gamers' hands. But it just felt like a total PR move. The limiter was broken almost instantly, and it really felt less like a real solution and more like a way for Nvidia to just say, hey, we tried, all while they were still making a fortune from the shortage. So after that crypto nightmare finally ended, you'd think Nvidia would try to win back some goodwill, right? Maybe even apologize? Nope. Instead, with the 40 and now the 50 series, they just doubled down with a whole new kind of controversy. Seriously misleading marketing. And this whole thing was a complete PR disaster. They tried to launch a card they called the RTX 4080 12GB, but the community immediately called them out. See, it was really a lower-tier card, which should have been a 4070, but with a premium 4080 price tag. People saw right through it, the backlash was huge, and Nvidia was actually forced to unlaunch the product and rename it. It was a massive blow to their credibility. Now, at the heart of all their new marketing is this technology called frame generation. The easiest way to think about it is that the GPU is using AI to literally invent new frames and slot them in between the real ones. It's making up frames out of thin air to make that FPS counter on your screen go way up. And this This is a huge source of the controversy right now.
So this was their big headline claim for the 40 series, up to 4 times faster, and it's all powered by this AI-generated frame tech. I mean, it sounds amazing, right? It looks fantastic on a marketing slide, but the real question is, does a bigger number on the screen actually mean you're getting a better, more responsive gaming experience?
Well, the data from this test suggests that, especially on lower-end cards, the answer is a big no. Okay, so let's just walk through this. Look at the top line. With frame generation turned off, you're getting around 45 real frames per second. Totally playable. But now, look what happens when you turn frame generation on. Your actual rendered frame rate drops to 30, and your input lag, how responsive the game feels, gets worse. So the big flashy feature is actually making the game feel sluggish, all because the card just doesn't have the VRAM and AI muscle to run it properly. So, after all this history of what feels like anti-consumer moves and misleading marketing, you have to ask, what's the solution? How does this actually get any better for gamers? Well, the argument here is that this idea of voting with your wallet, it doesn't really work in practice. I mean, let's be real. When you or I go to buy a new GPU, we're going to buy the best product we can afford. We're looking for the best performance for our money, right? The company's reputation, that often comes second.
And that leads to the real takeaway here. The only thing that's going to put real pressure on Nvidia to change isn't a boycott. It's just good old-fashioned competition. If rivals like AMD and Intel can come out with truly competitive products, Nvidia will have no choice but to offer better value to gamers. That's just how the market works.
And that really is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? After all these years of eroding trust, what would it actually take for gamers to believe in Nvidia again? You know, as the company focuses more and more on the absolutely massive AI market, its relationship with its original audience, the gamers who built them, it seems more broken than ever. Thanks for watching.